Yes, you know we gon' make it. Let it get away. You keep on making it. Yes, you know we gon' make it. Let it get away.
Hey, people, listen, welcome in the building, okay? The Diva is here for trending topics, and for a long time, I'm like back to my little regular time, so to speak here. It's an 8 o'clock show, and many people probably don't even know I'm on, but listen, if I got to talk to 5, 10, 20, 30, or 100 people, I'm still going to talk. It is Trending Topics Tuesday night, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Oh My. Oh My. We got the young lady who is now 41 years old. That was the infamous Jane Doe in the R. Kelly tape. And he first went to trial for it and got off. And when he got off, he still came out afterwards, even though he wanted to go gospel and talk about, I believe I can fly. He did all of that, only to still be abusing women and taking advantage of them. Well, now she's coming out to speak, and I believe that she got on the stand herself during that trial and said it wasn't me. Well, now she has wrote a book. She has a child of her own. She's coming out and speaking and said, yes, it was her. And she's pretty much kind of reclaiming her name and telling her own story. And she said pretty much, you know, in this interview I'm going to show you, she pretty much said her Aunt Sparkle had a little something to do with it. Well, her Aunt Sparkle spoke out and said, listen, I wish her well, but her memory in terms of me helping this man is twisted. We're going to talk about it. Then we got Savannah Guthrie. My heart is breaking for her right now. She's a news anchor. And they announced a couple of days ago that her mother went missing. Her mother has no known diagnosis of dementia. So they know that her mother didn't just walk off and wander off on her own. They're saying foul play. TMZ announced that they got this ransom letter. The mother has a heart condition and needs her medication. They're saying that the mother's pacemaker connected to her iWatch, her phone, whatever, has went undetected since Sunday. Super, super sad. But we're going to talk about that story. And then our last story of the day is this executive in Prince George County. I want to say that's Potomac area, Maryland area. She thought it was okay to take her and a few other executives throughout the bad snowstorm. They was housed in a hotel. The bill was $43,000. She said she needed all her executives together to discuss how they was going to handle the storm. And now she's getting backlash over this $43K hotel bill. Was it a good idea? Was it a bad idea? I guess it depends on how you see it. But she said it was a good idea and she's standing by her thoughts. Listen, people, y'all know what time it is. It's time for me to bring the people on in the building. Okay, so I need a what in the chat? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night Trending Topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Oh My. Her name is Reshona Landfair, and she's a survivor of R. Kelly, and she's speaking out. We got the sad story of Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, missing. And we got the $43K hotel executive scandal. We got stuff to talk about, people, and we're about to get into it. So let me bring the people in the building. Hey, Julius. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, y'all. Hit the like button for the diva.
Hit the like button for the diva. Thank you, Julius. I appreciate you. Listen, people, let's go ahead and get into the story. The first one we're going to talk about is this Reshona Landfair, who is the infamous 14-year-old that was in the R. Kelly video. She has written her own book. She's 41 years old now. She's absolutely gorgeous. And let's hear her story.
In two separate federal trials in 2021 and 2022.
Wait, hold on.
Notorious singer R. Kelly was convicted of racketeering and sex crimes in two separate federal trials in 2021 and 2022. But his legal trouble started many years before that. In 2001, there was a sex tape that was leaked showing a 14-year-old girl. That girl was Reshona Landfair. She was known as Jane Doe during one of Kelly's trials. Now, 41, Landfair spoke with Jerika Duncan in her first television interview about her new book called Who's Watching Shorty?
How does it feel to not be Jane Doe anymore?
It feels very rewarding. It feels very liberating. I really wanted to live in my true skin, in my true self.
And your true self today is what?
My true self today is Reshona Landfair.
Reshona Landfair had dreams of becoming a star. In the 90s, she was a child rapper.
Yo, what's the deal with this world that we live in?
Who came from a musical family in Chicago. Her aunt, R&B singer Sparkle, worked with hitmaker R. Kelly and wanted him to meet her talented niece. You say your aunt told you the next time we're at the studio, you should ask Robert to be your godfather. Aunt Sparkle explained that I should sit on his lap and rub his head while I asked him to be my godfather.
That is the start of him entering into my life in a different way than just being an artist or hanging out at the studio. It became more personable at that moment.
Kelly agreed to be her godfather, but soon after, when she was around 13, Landfair says he began grooming her and touching her inappropriately. At one point, her Aunt Sparkle suspected something wasn't right and called social services. Why don't you think anyone believed your Aunt Sparkle when she first raised a red flag about a possible inappropriate relationship?
I don't think they believed her because there were no obvious signs of what was actually taking place.
You say it was a couple of weeks before your 17th birthday. You say, Robert told me the copies of one of the sex tapes of 14-year-old me were beginning to be sold on the streets of Chicago and across the country.
I was empty. I was very hollow inside. I was very confused.
According to Landfair, after the 2001 leaked tape, Kelly told her parents that he was in love with their daughter.
It was very complicated. My dad wanted to make the right decision, and he was not okay with anything that took place. I was more under Robert's brainwash. He utilized me against my parents, making threats of suicide and doing different things out of desperation to convince them to not turn on him.
In 2008, roughly 6 years after being charged with child pornography, Kelly was acquitted. Landfair would later say she lied to a grand jury when she testified that the young girl on the sex tape was not her. Why not tell the truth when there was finally a trial after 6 years?
That's one of my biggest regrets, not telling the truth.
But the 2019 Lifetime docuseries, Surviving R. Kelly, changed everything.
The spirit of conviction came over me during that moment.
Because of that docuseries?
Yes. Somehow I felt responsible that he was able to hurt so many more people. During the time, I thought maybe these were just sexual fetishes that he had with me. Maybe this was just abuse I was going through. But when I saw that he was allowed to hurt so many people because I lied, that did not sit well with me as an adult, as a woman.
In 2022, R. Kelly stood trial in Chicago for sex crimes. Landfair testified Kelly was found guilty. In her memoir, Landfair writes directly to survivors and reminds herself that she deserves grace.
Embrace this next chapter in your journey with anticipation that God will plant new dreams in the fertile soil of your heart. Love you times infinity, Reshona.
How proud are you of yourself?
I'm very proud of myself. I've come a long way, a lot of cold nights, but I'm here.
And what she said there at the end is, but I am here today. And that is really at the core of her book. She's now a mother of a 5-year-old son. We did reach out to her aunt Sparkle, who said she is relieved that Reshona is in her healing journey. Sparkle also said this: any suggestion that I groomed, facilitated, or enabled harm to my niece is untrue and deeply painful. As for R. Kelly, who is currently serving sentences for 2 federal convictions, an attorney representing him told us they could not comment on specific allegations in the book without reading it. The attorney added that Kelly wishes Reshona success and peace at all levels. Very, very complicated story, but someone that we've been trying to talk to for so long. And she has said, you know, now is the time where she's ready to tell her
And
story.
when you drill down on it, it really isn't so complicated when you hear what Reshona has to say. I hope she really is giving herself some grace. Imagine the pressure she must have felt back then and thinking, I'm the only one. And R. Kelly is who he was at the time. He's late 50s, still in prison. How much longer does he have, Julie?
Well, he has the 2 convictions, one 30, the other one 20 in Chicago. But I have to say, a lot of this goes down to a lot of power, fear, and shame as to how so many people stayed silent for so long.
Yeah, I'm glad she's speaking up and giving herself grace.
No doubt.
Bravo to her.
Thank you. Who's Watching Shorty is on sale today.
You may have to get Who's Watching Shorty. Let me just share the screen again. I think I'm going to share here. This is her on Sparkle wrote this. She said, I'm relieved that Reshona is finally free to speak her truth and begin her healing journey. In addition to justice, I've always wanted healing and peace for her. I do need to be clear about one thing. Any suggestion that I groomed, facilitated, or enabled harm to my niece is untrue and deeply painful, especially given my documented actions at the time and throughout. When I was informed her parents were allowing Reshona to spend unchaperoned time with R. Kelly, I immediately contacted DCFS. When the tape surfaced and the state brought charges against him in 2008, I cooperated fully and testified under oath, despite immense pressure not to do so. I did this because protecting my niece from abuse and telling the truth mattered more to me than money and my career. This is the beginning of Reshona's lengthy deprogramming journey. It is true that she is a survivor of years of abuse, still learning the process what happened to her and who is responsible. It is also true and well documented that I stood up for her to try and stop the damage being done to her and countless others. I wish her continued healing and peace as she continues to not only find her voice, but hopefully require accountability from those closest to her. I think Sparkle is trying to say, like your mother and father, baby girl. Julius, your thoughts?
So, the young lady from those tapes is the same niece that Sparkle was talking about in the documentary that came out a year after he was convicted. She is a survivor. I want to speak to Reshona for a moment. She is a survivor. None of what she went through was her fault. I'm saying that again. It was not her fault. The fault is with Robert Kelly, not the R&B singer. Robert Kelly. He decided to groom her and to use her. I don't need to say that word. I feel also, Diva, the adults around her did feel her, Sparkle included. Because if it was my niece hanging out with this man, oh no, you going in the car with me. It's just no question. So the mama, the daddy, the grandpappy, the grandmama, the auntie failed this young lady. And the thing about it is, some victims, when they are facing their abuser in court, they are scared that they're gonna end up unalived, and so yes, they do end up not being honest while testifying.
Mhm.
Her case is not the first time I've heard it. I understand why she did what she had to do out of survival to survive. And I am proud of her for speaking her truth now. Congratulations, Lashana. You made it.
Thank you, Julius. Savannah, your thoughts?
So Diva, if we spent money on the Forgotten Son, then we can definitely spend money on this book.
You
And
ain't never lie, because I paid $25 for that nonsense. All right, then I'm gonna order my book. Who's
okay,
what is it? Who's watching Shorty or whatever it is?
who's
Okay,
watching Shorty? I just wrote it down. I'm definitely gonna get it to you.
okay. You ain't never lie. You telling facts.
Mm-hmm.
I will order it. Okay, Savannah, thank you for that. Check the system.
Absolutely. I'm here with you. I ain't buy it, but I read that nonsense.
Live
But
on air.
um, my thing is that this young lady, I don't believe she's fully healed from this traumatic incident
Mhm.
that changed the trajectory of her life as a child. And I don't think there's not one person, including Sparkle, who can say that this baby, this young lady, um, 'cause this happened when she was 14, that there wasn't anybody that protected her, um, guided her. If anything, they served her on a platter to this sick and twisted individual
Mhm.
for their own personal gain, for her gain, become a recording artist. And it breaks my heart. I'm so excited to read the book. I'm glad that she's finally finding her voice. But I don't believe that this um, grown woman that we see today, gorgeous, has healed. I think she is still a scared, frightened, lonely little girl. That's what I saw when she joined the interview. I could just see her as a child reliving this trauma, and I think there's more that we probably don't know about, and how she had no one in her village to protect her. So I'm glad that we're finally seeing a face to the infamous um, shadow that was always spoken of in this uh, video of R. Kelly's that comedians made fun of, and so many. It just became part of the culture back then, and the people who saw it, because she looked to me at that age, she was like a child. She was like a baby. Her face, her skin, that's a child. So for him to say, first of all, that it was his brother. I remember his first offense was saying it was his brother, or that it was a
Mhm.
17, 18-year old. That was the second defense. That to me looks like a straight child. So every single person who saw that video, whether it was law enforcement, family members, people in and around his circle, you're just as guilty for the harming of a child. And you did nothing to protect her. And then the hundreds more that came after, because you wanted to continue to be in that circle and be and ride the wave of the R. Kelly experience at that time, because he was the biggest celebrity at that time.
100%.
So miss me with the bullshit. So smart. Miss me with the BS Sparkle. You served your niece up. I don't buy none of this. You and your family, it was all for your personal gain. And I hope that this young lady, with this book, starts beginning to find her voice, starts to heal, and speak out more. Uncover the mask of all these people who failed you. And I'm getting the book. I can't wait for us to read it in the book club.
Okay, I'm getting the book. In my opinion, do you want to comment on this story?
No, pass me on this one, Dee.
Okay, so I will
Diva, can
say,
I share one more thing?
go ahead.
She's gonna feel afraid for a long while. This was a lot. I could tell in her body language. This was a lot for her. But she's finally owning what happened to her. And that can take years. But she's finally owning it, and she's finally taking her voice back, taking her agency back, taking her autonomy back.
So, what I want to say about this situation is that it's interesting to me. I'm gonna go light, right? It's interesting to me that she mentions her aunt's fault in this situation, but she go lightly on her parents. And I am my child's keeper. So even if my sister or my brother was offering up my child, I'm stepping in and protecting my child and making sure I snatch my child back. So all I'd like to say is if there's grace for your parents, there should be grace for your auntie. Because Sparkle said, and she has been saying this a long time, that when she found out that something was amiss, she called CPS. They all wanted the same. When she said the trial initially came and they spoke to her, the first trial where he got off, she said she told the truth. But even her parents, I just got to keep it 100 over here. Even her parents got on the stand and said that was not their child in that video. And then she got on the stand too. And I'm not going to blame her because she was young. She was confused. A lot was going on. But she got on the stand too and said it wasn't her. Now, I don't know. Sparkle saying under oath, and we could probably actually go back and pull these records. She said that was my niece. So understand that she has been through a lot of pain. She's a beautiful young lady. And to survive what she has survived, when there's a tape circulating out there when she was a young girl bringing in a situation that she should have never been in, is messed up. But if we are going to put some responsibility out there, a lot, and I'm going to put it in the 90th percentile, but really I feel it should be 100, but I'll do a 90th percentile. It's the people who created you, your mother that gave birth to you, your parents that had a high level responsibility in this situation, but she chooses to lean heavily on auntie. I think I'll use the word different. I think it's different. And the reason why I'm saying it's different because I know this young lady been through a lot and I want to take the soft route. And her parents, even if Sparkle, let's just say Sparkle wanted the money, whatever the case may be, respectfully, her parents obviously wanted it too, and they cared more about the money than they did about their own daughter because in 2008, they got on the stand under oath and told lies. They said, and that's how he wasn't convicted. They said, that is not my daughter in that tape. What do you want the jury to do? Then her parents said, well, the parents said that. And then, I'm saying this as respectfully as I can. She got on the stand and confirmed that it wasn't her. So what was a jury supposed to do? And your auntie is saying at that same time, she told that grand jury the truth that is my niece. And Sparkle took a lot of hit in real time about going against R. Kelly, and everybody else was saying that was not Denise. She got slammed up against the wall too. So I'm gonna say this respectfully too, that what's the name? Aaliyah parents. I'm
Say it, Diva. Say it.
The same exact thing. They did the same exact thing. And it was said that R. Kelly allegedly was sleeping with Aaliyah's mother too. See,
Ooh, there it is.
Yeah, if we're going to keep it 100, we got to keep it 100. All of these individuals who love money over themselves and their offspring, that's where the problem begins. These people that are claiming Diddy did XYZ to them, well, see, they love money over their own self-worth. What's his name? Rodney? I forgot his last name at the time. Right now, he was a producer on the Love album. He is a whole grown man that said he grew up in the gospel industry. So you are a whole grown man growing up in the gospel industry, doing your music, and you said all was well, and you got a Diddy to call you to come work on the Love album, and you don't know as a grown person how to get your contract, make sure you get your money, and not stay at somebody's house and go to your own house and spend the night and come back to work the next day. You living with somebody 24/7 to make their album, and you not getting paid on a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly basis, and you saying people are touching on you in the private places and all that. You waking up, you don't know what happened to you, and your butt hurt, and you still stayed there. It was about the money you wanted to get. Because if I would have called Rodney and asked him to come work on a theme song for the Diva, he would have told me straight up, this is how much it's going to cost. He probably would say, give me 50% upfront, and no, I don't need to come to your house to do it. I'm going to do it from my house and send you a sample. So the people want justice. But if we're going to start telling the truth, we got to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help us God. And I get it. She loved her parents. We all love our parents. But you can't absolve your parents. You know, you can't rewrite history. History is to be told as it happened. We can't rewrite history, just like they want to try to rewrite what happened in slavery. You can't rewrite what happened to our ancestors. They went through it. They got beat. They got shackled. They got armed. You can't make that pretty. So who's watching Shorty? I'm going to say this respectfully. Your parents should have been watching you, but I'm going to move on to the next story. Thank you, Increased Matter. Little Rodney Jones. You a grown man that I believe he said, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, got a wife and kids. Why are you spending months and days and nights at Diddy's house? When we got all of this technology, when you could do a Zoom call and play on your piano, say, hey, do you like this tune for that song right there? Don't nobody need to be in nobody's face anymore. We got Zoom. They got the Teams chat. You got FaceTime. Now, I'm not an iPhone chick, but you know, all your iPhone people out there, you got FaceTime. You can actually, I think, call somebody through the Instagram. But you spending the night at their house? If we're going to talk, we got to talk. So let me go ahead. But I'm going to get the book because Savannah ain't never lied. I done bought that, The Forgotten Son, for $24.99. I surely could buy Who's Watching Shorty. We just got to let me know, people, how much is the book. I place an order. Now, let's go ahead and roll into our next story. I'm going to do this Prince County executive who took a couple of her team members and they stayed at the 43,000. The bill was 43,000. They stayed at the hotel and she standing her ground. She defended what she did. She said, "Don't play with her." Hold on one second. Let me see where this story is.
Well, the Prince George's County executive under fire for putting herself and 24 staffers in a hotel during last week's snow and ice storm. Tonight, she defends that move in an exclusive interview with our Maryland bureau chief, Brad Bell.
As the snow and sleet piled up last week, Prince George's County Executive Aisha Braveboy, her top staffers, along with several county council members, 25 in all, were holed up here at the hotel at the University of Maryland at taxpayer expense. In an exclusive interview Monday, Braveboy explained she wanted her team in one place.
Because there were a lot of decisions that had to be made in real time.
With the main county building closed after a small electrical fire and other facilities fully staffed, she chose to seek a hotel.
I can tell you that we were able to coordinate over 137 emergency medical trips. There was an incident where we had seniors who lost power in a building. We found out, and in real time, we were able to move and transport those seniors within less than an hour.
But the stay here is being criticized by some community activists, in part because of this video Braveboy and her team released, urging people to stay home. Critics on social media have called that video tone deaf, as citizens were stuck at home dealing with a serious storm.
Were you all partying at the hotel?
No, no. In fact, you have my schedule. You'll see it. We were up at 7:30 in the morning.
According to hotel invoices released to 7 News at our request, the total cost was just over $43,000 for 3 nights, including 25 hotel rooms at $149 each, a conference room at $300 per day, and an $18,000 audio video setup.
The whole storm response is going to be in excess of $16 million. So you're talking about a fraction of those costs. And the majority of those costs were actually AV and other equipment that we set up to see in real time the conditions of the roads.
Now, ultimately, I asked the county executive if she would make the same decision to use a hotel again. And she said, faced with the same circumstances, faced with the same forecast, yes, she believes it was and would be the right thing to do. In College Park, Brad Bell, 7 News.
Hold on one second. Let me share again. So Prince George County executive defends the roughly $43K winter storm hotel stay. As last week's winter storm blanketed the region in snow, Prince George County Executive Aisha Braveboy and 24 senior officials stayed at the hotel at the University of Maryland, a decision now drawing criticism at the invoices showed taxpayers covered more than $43,000 for the 3-night stay. Braveboy said in an interview Monday that she moved her emergency team into the hotel so they can make rapid decisions as the storm intensified. And the county's main administration building remained closed following an electrical fire. There were a lot of decisions that had to be made in real time, Braveboy said. She said the centralized command helped officials coordinate more than 137 emergency medical transports and respond quickly when a senior apartment building lost power. We were able to move and transport those seniors with less than an hour, she said. But the hotel stay has drawn pushback for some community activists who questions the optics after Braveboy scene released a lighthearted video urging residents to stay home during the storm. Critics on social media called the video tone deaf as residents dealt with hazardous conditions. Braveboy rejected suggestions that the group was socializing. No, she said when asked whether officials were partying at the hotel. We were up at 7:30 in the morning. You have my schedule, she said. Invoices obtained by 7 News shows the county paid 25 hotel rooms at $149 per night, a conference room costing $300 per day, and an $18,000 audio-visual setup used to monitor road conditions. Brave Boy said the hotel costs represent a small portion of the county's overall storm response, which estimated will exceed $16 million. You're talking about a fraction of those costs, she said, adding that most of the hotel-related expenses were tied to equipment needed for real-time monitoring. She said she would make the decision again under similar circumstances. So boom, there it is. She is standing by her word. Oh my. Julius, your thoughts?
43K? She spent 43K.
3 days.
And citizens had to go to a dusty, rundown shelter. No disrespect to the shelters. But that 43K could have went to some of them citizens. Because that snowstorm, I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit much for them in that area. They could have helped out the community, but they chose to be greedy. Justified pushback.
Thank you. In my opinion, your thoughts?
Instead of aggressively spending the money like it's made on trees and grows on trees, they could have stayed there behind at home and came to work the next day then, just like everybody else did. I don't know why they had to stay in a hotel. It wasn't like they were stranded. That money is for when it's an emergency. This wasn't an emergency. They gave you a heads up on when it was coming and how much it was going to be. You should have made accurate arrangements for you to get back and forth to work. It's not on the taxpayers in the city to pay for you to stay in a hotel in the lap of luxury. She didn't pick a low budget hotel neither. She picked one of the highest ones. So no, ma'am. In this situation, you should not do it again because now you're wasting the money.
Savannah, your thoughts?
No, I really hope that the taxpayers are paying attention to these stories. We're so overwhelmed by so many other distractions in the news and in the media that, your vote matters, and who you put in position of power really, really counts. And when you have people like this who are self-serving and it's all about them and what's in it for them and not for the constituents, the people who trusted them to protect them and make their city and their lives a little better. So all I could think of was Mayor Tiffany when you were reading the story, because everyone's trying to be Mayor Tiffany, and we all see where she ended up at. So I'm hoping that whenever the next election comes through, that this all of them, not just her, she's just the lead. All of them are voted out, and the citizens of that area really get upset and demand that they pay that money back. And that area does get some really heavy snow. It's up in Maryland. Like they need, and especially what we have now here in this area, we got nothing but 6 to 8 inches of ice that we still can't get out of. We're expecting another snowstorm tonight. We haven't got our mail in almost 2 weeks. There's a lot going on here, and for these people to take money that didn't belong to them to serve them instead of use it for nursing homes who are without heat at the time, or whose pipes are busted because of the freezing conditions. That's what people vote to put when they put you in power, is to take care of them, not to take care of yourself. So I hope that a special election happens, and that they get voted out.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I think that sometimes these executives or these politicians, they are definitely tone deaf. They don't read the room. And you should have some type of policy in place that says if there's a snowstorm and I need to shelter all of the workers in, where shall they stay? So when I worked in a hospital and there was an impending snowstorm, because listen, the hospital, you have to have workers. Like is no so and so could make it the work, we're screwed. Because you got patients that need to be taken care of. They had an emergency plan in place where they would find empty rooms throughout the hospital. There was patient rooms where they will offer like, okay, you can stay overnight. So that way you will be here for, your next morning shift if you need to be, and instead of trying to like deal with trying to drive through the weather. So, they had those options. So maybe what she needs to do, instead of saying, yeah, I would make the same decision again, maybe you should put on the books. So then you're not going to be criticized, right? You should put on the books that this is what is allowed when you need to have the people stay overnight or stay together to make decisions for however many days when there's a crisis. Because, this time it was a storm. Maybe next time it's some crazy water break or whatever it is. You need to figure out what the emergency plan is. And then that way you could come in the news and just tell the people, listen, people are bashing me because of this, but this is part of our emergency plan. I'm not just going to tell the people I will do that again, right? Yep, and have a backup plan. Come on, flip the script. We got to figure this thing out. Some of these people, go ahead.
Like every county, every city, they have these emergency plans when there's inclement weather, whether it's hurricanes or tornadoes but they don't go stay at the Hilton or the Marriott. That's not the plan. They don't go and get, all these luxury, almost $50,000, and that's what they put on the books. We don't know what else they did. But no county goes stays at the Hilton when there's inclement weather. They stay in. We have a plan. We stay in the building. There's a refrigerator. There's this fully stocked kitchen. Like, no, this was an abuse of power and an abuse of funds that did not belong to them.
So, well, yeah, that was messy then. So, yeah, she got a lot of explaining to do. The people not happy. So I'm going to go ahead and roll into the last story. And the last story is very sad to me. I avoided it for days because I do watch her on the news as an anchor. And it's just very emotional that Savannah Guthrie, her mother, Nancy Guthrie, is missing. Her mother is 84. They said from the beginning, they kind of feel like they knew it wasn't a matter of her just roaming off on her own, like, because maybe she has dementia or whatever. They know that her mother is of well mind, but she does have some medical conditions and they're very concerned. And allegedly, TMZ said they received like a ransom letter saying they want money, right? So let me just go ahead and share screen. Did I click out of it? Okay, no, let's do this. Here we go. Let's do this one first, and then I'll go to the next one.
So something happened here just a few minutes ago. We received an email at TMZ from somebody purporting to basically issue a ransom demand. I'm not going to read this, but the top line to it is that they are asking for money a lot. They are asking for it in the form of Bitcoin, and they are putting an or else on this.
Right.
Now, they also say they do two things.
You don't want that number.
Right. They say two things. They say that that there is an address, a Bitcoin address that that they could send this money to, and then they give a description of something that Savannah's mother was wearing at the time of the abduction, and a damaged item in the house.
Both things are clearly mentioned because they want to prove that they're legit. That
So
they
we-
have information about something that happened in the house. We
don't know.
Don't know if that is accurate.
We have called the sheriff's department. We've made multiple calls, spoken with the detective unit. We have passed on this email. We don't know whether this is legit or not, but I will say this happens from time to time where a media outlet gets something like this. So just in due diligence, we've...
The one thing we
It
should
has to
say...
be taken very, very seriously. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the one thing we should say is that we have confirmed it, at least the Bitcoin address that they've included in this email is legit.
Right. And the authorities will have to take this very seriously. This is a piece of material evidence that has been turned over. They think an abduction happened. They have found substance in the house. The detective walked back a little bit. The sheriff walked back the blood idea. They said that things have been gathered and they are testing those substances. But he did clarify that it's a very open and active investigation. So we'll have to see what happens.
So we will let you know. But right now, again, all we're doing is we've sent this on to detectives and we will see.
Super sad.
Moments ago, the Pima County Sheriff's Department posting.
That's not what I want to show there. Let me just show one more. Share screen.
In Arizona.
Good morning, and that is where we begin this morning. The disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's mother, and a beloved part of our Today family. Authorities in Arizona now saying the 84-year-old appears to be the victim of an abduction.
Overnight, Savannah posting this image on Instagram. Please pray. She went on to write, we believe in prayer. We believe in voices raised in unison, in love, in hope. We believe in goodness. We believe in humanity. Above all, we believe in him.
She added, thank you for lifting your prayers with ours for our beloved mom, our dearest Nancy, a woman of deep conviction, a good and faithful servant. Raise your prayers with us and believe with us that she will be lifted by them in this very moment. She goes on to say, we need you. Bring her home.
We have several reports this morning. We'll start with NBC's Liz Coit. She has made her way to Tucson. She is following the investigation for us. Liz, good morning to you.
Hi, Craig. Hi, Chanel. Good morning to both of you. Our hearts are with Savannah and her family right now. And there are still so many more questions than answers as the search for Nancy Guthrie goes on nearly 48 hours now. While the sheriff tells us they have received many tips from the public and community, he says they still don't have a solid lead.
This morning, authorities are urgently asking the public for help with any tips related to the disappearance of Savannah's mother, Nancy Guthrie. As the massive search continues for the 84-year-old,
I think she was abducted.
the Pima County Sheriff saying yesterday that Guthrie was taken from her home.
When you're taken from your bed and you don't want to go somewhere, that's an abduction.
The Sheriff's Department now saying he meant that figuratively and did not mean that she was literally taken from her bed. But according to the office, investigators do believe Guthrie was, quote, taken from the home against her will, which could include, quote, possible kidnapping or abduction. Overnight, the sheriff also reporting possible DNA evidence found at the crime scene.
We took some samples that we hope will have enough profile of a DNA profile that gives us some identification as to what we're looking at.
Police say Nancy Guthrie was last seen Saturday night when family members dropped her off at home where she lives alone around 9:45 p.m. The next morning, a church friend called family concerned she didn't attend Sunday service. After spending nearly an hour searching the home and property, her children called 911 around noon on Sunday. Police say Nancy Guthrie's cell phone and car were left behind, adding that she has limited mobility and needs to take medication daily or it could be fatal.
Oh, that's so cute.
Over the years, Savannah's mother has been a frequent guest on the Today Show, the two often sharing cherished memories and opening up about their special bond.
My mom and I feel like we really click as friends, too. It's just amazing what she's brought to my life.
Savannah posting overnight asking for prayers. Authorities not speculating on potential motives, saying their focus is on trying to track down the beloved mother and grandmother before it's too late.
It is a race against time, and I hope that window hasn't closed.
And the sheriff indicated that it could be several more days until they're able to get any kind of conclusive information from those DNA samples taken from the crime scene. We also asked the sheriff about the potential possibility that Nancy Guthrie could have been targeted because of her connection to Savannah. He said that while they're not ruling anything out, that is not a main focus of their investigation. Craig?
Liz Court starting us off there in Tucson. Liz, thank you. NBC's Tom Winter covers crime and security, joins us now here in the studio. So, Tom, I mean, it's alarming that she was taken against her will from her home. Where do investigators start with something like that?
You know, certainly the fact that we now have what they've called an abduction is obviously very concerning to them. There is a process to doing this. There's a methodology to doing this. The FBI is now involved. I know we'll talk about that. They are getting some evidence, but they are pleading for the public's help. Somebody knows something about this. Somebody knows, saw something, had maybe heard something. Obviously, the person or persons that did this know about it. And so I think today there's two things. There's the investigation, but there's also the Nancy Guthrie, the humanity side of this. And if it were my family, and I'm sure the Guthries feel the same way, they say, you know what? Focus on, and I would say focus on Nancy. Get her to the hospital, get her to a fire station, get her somewhere where she can get some help, because she may not have the time that investigators do or whoever did this has.
You know, we've been talking about the fact that there were items like, you know, her cell phone, car left behind. You know, what does that tell us? And also the terrain of the neighborhood. How does that impact this?
Yeah, so clearly this wasn't a robbery. And this was somebody who was, they tried to abduct this person. They get them out of the house in the middle of the night, it appears. And so because of the neighborhood, it's not tightly packed. It's within Tucson, but we're not talking about house next to house next to house. So because of the vegetation, because of the terrain, because the way the layout of the neighborhood, according to the sheriff's office, so far they have not had a lot of luck in getting video. We were talking about yesterday morning, hopefully a neighbor would have a video of a car leaving or somebody in the area. That hasn't been too fruitful so far. So that's proving to be a real challenge.
You mentioned the FBI a few moments ago, Tom. What kind of expertise can the FBI bring to a case like this, and other agencies as well?
Yeah, sure. And it's not just the FBI, but the FBI does have a lot of experience on these types of kidnapping investigations. They bring some technological resources that can be very helpful in terms of finding the person. So as far as cell phone location technology, the work they can do with that is incredible. We've seen that be used just in the last several months in a number of high-profile cases. They have the ability to analyze images. They can review purchases. They can try to find out if anybody bought anything that they think that somebody might have been used in this crime. So they have some unique resources. They're also a national and international organization, so they have that reach as well.
Particularly for people in this area, in her area, how much can the public help at this time?
I think it's very clear from the sheriff's office that they need the public's help, and I think they're going to be critical. Somebody somewhere saw something. Somebody's heard about something. And you know what? It's not just people in Tucson. You could be in New York, North Dakota, California. Maybe you're on Reddit. I mean, we saw in the Brown University case, somebody posted incredible details about what they saw at Brown University, and it was posted on Reddit. So if you see something, make that phone call to police, because they're really hoping for that clue or that thing that they can't find. They don't have infinite resources and infinite manpower, so they're asking for the public's help that way.
That's a good point. I didn't think of the digital aspect of it.
The digital aspect of that is huge. They're not the only police department in the country that's paying attention to that, and that's another example of where the FBI can help. But hopefully they'll be able to clue in on Savannah's mom's home and try to figure out if anybody has been there from a cell phone location standpoint, those type of digital details that they could get as well.
All right.
That's good.
Tom, thank you. Of course, we'll be checking in with you throughout the morning. Again, if you're watching or if you're listening and you have any information about this case, we urge you to call the Pima County Sheriff's Office, the phone number right there on your screen. You can also go to 88crime.org. And of course, we'll have updates throughout the morning.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Super, super sad. Savannah's fortunate, that she is a news anchor, and they're shining a lot of light on this story. It's sad. Julius, your thoughts?
My prayers go out to Savannah and her family.
Mm-hmm.
My prayer is that her mom is being protected from above. I'm trying to be positive, but what the current term that keeps popping into my mind is pacemaker, pacemaker, pacemaker. And Diva, that is a serious device. What if it stops working?
Yeah.
Would her heart still be able to keep on beating? She is 84. In the way that, given who Savannah is, even though despite my own personal opinions about her, about past, interviews she may have done, I want to be consistent with this. She does not deserve to go through this. Her mom does not deserve to go through this. Her family entirely does not deserve to go through this. And it is sad and heartbreaking because I think of my own grandparents if they were here, and also my grandpa, he's still here.
That's nice.
And if something like that was to happen to him, I will be losing my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we are a culture in this country, like the United States, that don't really respect our elders as some other cultures do. And this is just a diva opinion. Like, there are some cultures where the elder community is really looked highly upon and they're protected just like people protect the babies in the community. And I think that it's so sad that here it is, she's healthy enough and well enough to live on her own, but people knowing that, like, utilize that information and preyed upon her. This is sad, but I do think overall as a country, we got to do better with our elderly community. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So I don't think this is somebody that is going to protect this woman. Sad to say.
Yeah.
I think the elderly are the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're taken advantage of. I think this is a money grab. I do. I think they're gonna give her an account. It's either gonna be overseas or they're gonna go through the Bitcoin system. And sadly, if not already, she will be unalived. I do hate saying that because Lord knows I want her to make it and it's to be a happy ever after story. But usually in stories like this, 9 times out of 10, this long, they don't find them alive. I will say people are getting targeted now. So when you are in the spotlight like this, you have to protect your elderly people. You know what I'm saying? I wish she would have had cameras, where she could see. And this is something we all need to think about with our elderly people. They need some kind of access where we can see them at all times to be able to protect ourselves and protect them.
Yeah.
Because they are getting older. They're not as vibrant as they used to be. They can't get around like they used to. So if something happens and they fall out or something, we need to be able to put eyes on them at all times.
Yeah.
The nanny cams, all that need to have been installed. But I'm going to pray that the worst doesn't happen. But we've seen so many stories where sadly the outcome never is good. So, but prayers to the family.
Prayers to the family. And you are right. In my opinion, cameras need to be everywhere. I did not for a long time, just because I didn't have the Ring doorbell. And then finally, like, my family's like, hello, you need to get one. And so I have the Ring doorbell, well, I have a version. I have, I forgot what mine is called, but I can see, right? The point is I have a mechanism like that. It's just sad because I was thinking too, like, don't they have cameras? Didn't she have some type of cameras or a Ring doorbell? Wasn't there cameras maybe in the neighborhood? But on the flip side, in my opinion, I think they do probably have some camera footage, because for whatever reason, they kind of knew right away that she just didn't wander off or went somewhere. They kind of knew that, that it was foul play. Flip the Script, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, please try to do some shows on scams. A lot of elderly people are being scammed from puppies to repair scams. That is correct. That is correct. You know what? I'm going to have to research it. But you are correct. Flip the Script. Savannah, your thoughts?
I can see why you avoided doing this story for over the last few days because it is tragic, and I agree with, in my opinion, that there might not be a positive outcome at the end of this story. And I think they need to get a hold on the information that they're putting out to the public because I do see news reports where there were cameras in the home. I imagine someone like Savannah Guthrie, she would have cameras in her mother's home because she's elderly, because she's limited in mobility and living by herself. But I have seen in some articles where it says they don't have cameras, and the others that say that they do, that they did have cameras. But even if she didn't, I'm guaranteed that the neighbors did. So I think this is someone who knows the family, who knew how that they could be targeted because they would pay whatever ransom demand that they would put out there. My fear is that this woman might not, this mother might not come back. I really hope and pray that it does because it will make a great SVU episode. But I don't believe that this, especially with her medical conditions. And I will continue to pray for her. But of course, you know, the police and law enforcement know more than they're saying. When they're speaking, they don't seem very optimistic. This woman had to be carried out of the home in some way, form, or fashion, whether it was physically or in some type of box or bin or something. She just didn't walk out on her own. So there is footage of a car, of people. It was going to take some time to get her out. So I really hope and pray that there would be additional information that will make them believe that she is, and that this ransom note that TMC received is legit. But I do believe that this woman is gonna, unfortunately, not be on this side of the earth anymore. But these people, I think that whoever did it's gonna be sloppy, and they're gonna get caught because just like they said in that Brown University case, they didn't have any leads until somebody posted some information and a picture on a website, and that's what led to them capturing the actual person who did the pow pow. So this is so sad, and my heart breaks for her and the family. But I hope that they continue working with law enforcement, that people get sloppy, and that they do, and that she comes home. That's all. Because as a mother and as a daughter, this would be heartbreaking where I wouldn't be able to sleep.
I'm praying for her because, like Savannah said, prayer works. My heart breaks for her because, listen, you know, my dad, 85 when he passed, my mom is still alive. And it's the hardest times is when, as you get older, because the way our communities are set up, if you put your parent in one of those homes, your heart is broken because I don't care if you pay $100,000 a month or $10,000 a month. Some of these workers are trash. A lot of them are trash. I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. And so it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like you leave your parents in their house, and maybe they're not in the house that's close to your house. And like, what do? Do you try to move your parents right next door to you or in your? Like, what do you do? Because they want to stay home, they want their independence, but then they're vulnerable to these predators in the streets. I will say this. I'm leaning more towards liking those law enforcement areas that are like no joke. We did a story a while back, and I want to say that it was in Florida, where the chief of police caught these teenagers that came from Philly stealing at a Dick's Sporting Good in Florida. And he said, not in my state. Matter of fact, I got to check into that story to see how it ended up panning out. He was like, not in my state. Like, he's a no holds bar type of chief of police. And I just want us to get a little bit more harsh on the crime so that maybe people will start to think twice about doing crimes. This is just horrific. This woman was living her best life. The people in the church knew to call to say she ain't here. And she has meds that she's on. And she lived up to, she's 84, because I don't want to speak the wrong word, say it the wrong way. She's 84 and she's still living a good life, and some bums came and took her. This is just sad. Is just no other way that y'all could have got money? And how do you think you're going to get money? Who's like, I don't know. The whole thing is sad. It's very heart-wrenching to me. And I was leaning away from it for days because I just couldn't even believe that in this day and age, something like this can actually happen, that you are taken from your home. All I can say right now is, guys, definitely get yourself an alarm system, even if you think you live in the best neighborhood in your state. Have yourself an alarm system. Have cameras everywhere. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to get a sign that says you are being recorded. I don't know. We got to find, you know what? And who told me to do this show? Flip the script. I'm going to see if I could get a professional to talk to us about how we protect ourselves in our own home. Because something's got to give. Go ahead, Savannah.
I have a speaker professional. If you need to connect with them, I think that would be a good show.
No, I do. So just send me an email. Send me an email, because this is sad. Very sad. So, excuse me. So Savannah asked us to pray. And I'll say this short prayer here right on our show. I pray, dear Heavenly Father, that they find Nancy Guthrie alive, well, and that she comes back to her family, her daughter, her grandchildren, and her neighborhood, so that she can once again go back to her church where the people love her and enjoy whatever time she has left on this earth given by you. Amen. So sorry.
Amen.
Amen. I'm so sorry this is happening to the family. I'm so sorry that this has happened. And you know what? You should be able to, if you are a celebrity. You know, that was memorable stuff and cute stuff to be able to bring her mother on this show with her. And now people are going to have to be afraid they can't bring their mother or their family members on the show because somebody's going to abduct them. Very sad. Listen, guys, chat with me in the comments when this is over. If you come in and watching the replay, and I definitely will chat back. All of y'all out there, y'all know the routine. If y'all didn't hit that like button on the way in, do the diva a favor. Hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.